Hi, this is Steve Berlin of Los Lobos. You're listening to WMNF, Tampa, Florida.
The opinions presented on the Healthy Steps show are the evidence-based opinions of Dr. Fred Harvey, the callers, and his guests. These are not the opinions of the staff, the volunteers, or the board of WMNF. The information provided on the show is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. There is no implied patient-physician relationship in these calls. The nature of the calls is educational and informational only.
Good morning to you. Yes, you, my treasured listener. It is so good to be back in the studio with you and Dr. Harvey here at the Healthy Steps Radio Hour on WMNF Tampa, the only little community radio station that every man, woman, and child in Ocklawaha County, Florida streams, and you can stream us as well at WMNF.org. In the more immediate and front and center aspect of the Healthy Steps Radio show, today we have the Pop Quiz Edition. That is what we call the Ask Me Anything Monday show. If you have any medical questions or concerns, please give us a call at 813-239-9663. Irene would love to get you in the queue, so jot this number down. That number to call is 813-239-9663. You can also send an email to dj@wmnf.org or text us at 813-433-0885. And a spectacular good morning to you, Dr. Harvey. It feels good to settle into the lazy boy easy chair here in the WMNF studio, so let's burst open the barn doors to the Healthy Steps radio show itself. And anytime we have an Ask Me Anything Monday, I'm happier than a nun in a ruler factory, so let me stop my jabbering and let you start the show. What have you got for us today, Dr. Fred?
Well, I've got no rulers today, but...
Yeah, it's such a shame.
Yes, and I don't even have a green beer, but it is that day, isn't it?
Yes, and you still have a chance, although I know that's not your beverage of choice.
Yeah, probably not. I tend to avoid the alcohol. I like my brain to work. So it is a really beautiful day here in Florida. Sunny once again, great breeze, and all kinds of things are blowing in the wind. Boy, that Amy Goodman show was really impressive, but I'll avoid diving into there and talk instead about an interesting thing. I was on some social media this weekend and saw a very popular health poster talking about artificial and non-nutritive sweeteners, and also the natural ones. And this woman has a huge following. I'm not going to mention her name because I don't want you to go to her site and increase the following, because she's confused, and I don't want people to get confused. She was talking about this sweetener that is showing up in a lot of natural products. It's a non-nutritive plant extract. It comes from a Chinese plant called luhan, and we call it monk fruit in English. Monk fruit extract is a safe and effective sweetener. It is extracted from this fruit of the luhan plant, and it is not something that our body can utilize as far as a carbohydrate. And so it tastes sweet, but it doesn't change our physiology. And the same thing goes for another extract called stevia. Steviosides are the chemicals in stevia. I think they're there's another one, mongalon or something like that. I don't have the word in front of me, but there's another type of chemical in the monk fruit that acts like the steviosides in stevia. They make your tongue think you're getting something sugary, but there's no calories. The problem is, and this woman, to explain what she made an honest mistake, I believe, but it was a bad one. She thinks that there's erythritol in monk fruit. So erythritol is a sugar alcohol, and there's a lot of information about sugar alcohols. xylitol is one of them, and it's got an interesting story. If you it does change the microbiome. They've done studies where they've shown that children who chew xylitol containing gum have lowered incidence of strep throat and streptococcal ear infections because it changes the microbiome of the mouth and reduces some of the pathogens like streptococcus. But on the other hand, it can also change the microbiome in our gut and turn it more inflammatory. And these sugar alcohols are somewhat, I mean, they are actually natural substances. The xylitol can show up in certain foods, certain fruits. So can sorbitol and erythritol. But so sorbitol is found in apples, pears, plums, cherries, mannitol in mushrooms, asparagus, and seaweeds, xylitol in birch bark and some berries and corn cobs. So they're naturally occurring, but they're not things, I mean, we eat a lot of. Mushrooms aren't something that are sweet. And then erythritol, it's produced by fermentation in cheese and wine. And so there's a little leftover sweetness in wine after the sugar has been utilized, you have erythritol. The problem is these sugar alcohols do change things in our body. And well, one thing that they're called polyols. Many people are talking about FODMAP diets these days. FODMAP, the P in there is polyol. And FODMAP diets are associated with irritable bowel syndrome, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, bloat, and other gastrointestinal effects like gas and diarrhea. And so erythritol, xylitol, sorbitol, all known to do this. And what's more interesting is that these sugar alcohols cause increased risk in other areas. So xylitol and erythritol are both associated with increased risk of heart attack and stroke. And so these are easy to come by, these polyol sugar alcohols. And so they're cheaper and they're added to the natural extract. So when you look for monk fruit extract, you have to be very careful because most monk fruit extracts are actually combined with erythritol. And in fact, the principal ingredient is erythritol with a little bit of monk fruit thrown in. This is a profit-centered issue and a poison-centered issue. The erythritol in there ruins the natural sweetening agent. You can get natural monk fruit extract that is just monk fruit. I have found it in liquid form at certain health food stores, but you really have to read the label, the ingredient label on all these, because almost all of them will say monk fruit in big bold letters, and down at the bottom of the front of the package it'll say with erythritol. On the back, when you read the product label, it says erythritol number 1, xylitol number 2. And so you really have to understand this is false advertising and you need to stay away from it. So this woman, this health promoter was right in that you should stay away from erythritol, but there is no erythritol in monk fruit. So monk fruit is a safe and effective sweetening agent that I think is a very functional tool in attempting to decrease your carbohydrate load. Same thing goes for stevia. They're both very safe sweeteners. Allulose is a sugar that is also non-nutritive. It's not allulositol, it's allulose. And allulose tastes sweet, doesn't taste as sweet as sucrose, table sugar, but it's sweet. And it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but allulose does provide that sweetness, and it doesn't provide the bloat and the gas and the cardiovascular risk that the sugar alcohols do. It, in fact, acts like a GLP-1 agonist. GLP-1 agonists are medications like Ozempic, which have been massively in the news for the past year. Ozempic changes the way your body metabolizes in a beneficial way, and so does allulose. So using allulose as a sweetener instead of sugar, or maybe even reducing the sugar and doing half and half to actually help you shift the amount of carbohydrates you're taking in, will also shift the inflammation in your body, because that's what the allulose helps to do. And so there are lots of good alternatives to adding artificial sweeteners to your food products. I'd suggest that you avoid anything that ends with ITOL, erythritol, xylitol, sorbitol. Not good things as choices. By the way, xylitol is highly toxic to dogs. So if you have a xylitol sweetened anything and your dog happens to get it off the counter and eat it, they could die. So it's best to keep xylitol out of your house. It's becoming more and more obvious that these things are dangerous. So I just wanted to remind everybody, this is an interactive talk show, the Healthy Steps Show on WMNF Tampa.
Yes, and that's just not enough to tell them. This is the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa, and you are invited to participate in this show. Just give us a call at 813-239-9663 and share your concerns or questions medically related. You can also continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org or text us at 813-433-0885. And we do have two folks in the queue already. We've got Gary, a regular. He's from Clearwater. And Dave from Palm Harbor. Let's go to Gary. Good morning to you, Gary. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Well, thank you. And happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys. My question today is, last year I bought some fish oil, 1,200 milligrams a capsule, and I had it in my cabinet, and I haven't taken one around last year. Would it be a health benefit to start taking them, or do I need a doctor's response?
So you've not been taking the ones that you purchased?
Right. They've been on my shelf for a year.
How much fish do you eat?
It's pretty like maybe once a week.
Once a week, okay. And are you eating an oily fish like salmon or sardines or mackerel?
Yes, I love salmon.
Very good, very good. Is it wild caught?
Wild caught, definitely.
Good. So that has good omega-3s in it. And so your omega levels might be okay. But as we evolve, we ate a bit more fish than that. And so it might behoove you to get some more fish on board. But I recommend that everybody take, if they're not eating fish more often than that, they take a fish oil capsule. One thing about your fish oil, you say it's 1,200 milligrams. That's how much is in the capsule total. How much omega-3 is in that capsule?
I don't know offhand. I don't know.
So that's the important thing to know when you look at fish oil. You may have a big fat 1,200 milligram capsule that only has 200 milligrams of omega-3 in it. And so you need to take about 10 of those a day to get to the 2,000 milligrams recommended to keep your brain and heart healthy. And so you may want to look for a fish oil that's really potent. I use one that has 900 milligrams of omega-3 out of 1,000 milligrams of oil. So you can get by with taking about 2 of those if you're eating fish every week.
You know what? I think I just might have salmon instead of taking the fish oil capsules. I think I might eat more salmon a week, okay?
I think that's a great idea. Getting more from your natural food is definitely the way. But if you feel like you're inflamed or achy, your brain or heart needs help, you can always take some extra fish oil. Just don't overdo it.
All right. Thanks again, Doc.
You're welcome.
And as always, thank you, Gary. Let's go to David in Palm Harbor. Good morning, David.
Hello, Doc. I have a question about my cholesterol.
Yes, David.
Last time I went there, it was 278.
Oh.
My HDL is 118.
Uh-huh.
My triglycerides is 70. The LDL is 143.
So, do you have heart disease?
I do?
Do you?
No.
Oh, okay. These numbers aren't as alarming if you don't actually have active heart disease, but they suggest that you have a toxicity and inflammation problem in your metabolism.
Oh. Okay. So,
HDL cholesterol is the mechanism that your body uses to bring fat-soluble toxins out of your peripheral body and into the liver for processing and excretion. So a male who has a cholesterol of 118 HDL is kind of remarkable. That suggests you need to do some metabolic work. Like you need to get an evaluation for what kind of petrochemical or metal toxin you have in your body, and also what kind of inflammation is going on that's promoting this kind of problem.
so a high HDL is bad, right?
What's that?
The high HDL is not good?
Well, the fallacy of Western medicine is that they only look at the fact that there is an HDL and that there is an LDL, and then they put them in ratios and say, oh, that could be more or less impactful for your body. What I look at is the fact that you have an HDL that's twice the top normal for normal humans. And so that suggests to me that you have a metabolic problem that's showing up in your HDL, and that you probably have some sort of toxin, mold toxin, herbicide, something that's causing your HDL to go up to remove these poisons from your periphery and bring them back to the liver. So you need to get evaluated by somebody who doesn't practice endpoint medicine, which is most doctors. You need a functional medicine doctor to look at why you're toxic.
Oh, okay.
Because putting you on a statin will reduce risk based on numerical calculations, but if you still have the poison on board, you're going to die from some other cause, probably.
Right. It's always been high. Even when I first got the test probably 15 years ago, it's always been like 90 to 100, the HDL.
And how old are you?
I'm 70.
And so you got it first done about 55. So yeah, you had 55 years to accrue a bunch of toxicity, and it seems to be going up. So you keep toxifying yourself.
Okay. Because I was looking at the LDL and thinking, oh, that's really bad. I got to fix that. It's both of them I have to fix, right?
Well, actually, what you have to do is fix the reason you have both of them.
Right.
And so you need to go upstream and figure out why you have it, not just take a pill to fix it.
Right. Okay.
So best wishes, and really look them up. Go to ifm.org, find a practitioner local to you, and go see someone.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're in an enviable position. I do have 3 people lined on up. I've got Susan in Sarasota, Ann in Tampa, and Scott in Safety Harbor. So let's go to Susan. Good morning, Susan.
Hi, Dr. Harvey. I had a few questions, but after listening about xylitol, that's my first one now. My boyfriend is using a nose spray with xylitol. He's got terrible congestion and stuff, and I put him on NAC, got heartburn. He's got on a lot of meds, so it's got to be something. He's not going to do a neti pot. And I use a mouthwash that has xylitol. Should both of those be canceled because of what you said?
I had in the past chewed a xylitol gum because I knew about it reducing the amount of bacteria there. Once I realized that it actually affects much more than just that microbiome, I stopped using it. I'm avidly looking at labels and eliminating sugar alcohols wherever I can. So yeah, should you choose to, I think it would be a good idea.
To get rid of the mouthwash and the nose spray, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's too bad. I bought a lot of it. But it's hard to find a nose spray for him. He's not going to do the neti pot, and he can't take supplements. He's on 4 meds. He's already got heart issues. Well,
sounds like he needs a functional medicine evaluation to figure out why he's feeling so terribly.
Well, that probably isn't going to happen. He's getting ready for an ablation when we go back. I'm someone who would go to a functional medicine
So
doctor.
he has atrial fibrillation?
Yeah,
How's his sleep apnea being treated?
yeah, it's being treated.
Good.
You're not, yeah, all right, so get rid of that nose spray, get rid of my mouthwash.
That seems to make sense to me based on current information.
I've talked to you about my knee. I've tried everything. I mean, it could be the muscles around it. I do have end-stage arthritis in my knees. I'm bow-legged. And I have lymphedema in that leg. I will not go for a knee replacement. They don't always work, and it would be a double horrible thing with the lymphedema. I found a glucosamine that's a vegan. I use MSM. I use Boswellia. What am I missing?
Muscle activation technique.
Muscle activation technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a way of optimizing the use of the muscles around those joints that aren't working well.
Finding muscle activation technique. Where do I find a muscle activation technique therapist?
Well, there's some in Tampa, there's some in St. Petersburg, there's some in Sarasota. They are personal trainers, and you may find them by going to the Muscle Activation Techniques website and doing an area search for who's in your area.
Okay. I go up north in mid-April. Maybe there'd be somebody. I live in a small town. But what I need is some physical work, I know. I'm reading a book called Zero Knee something, but I can't do his things. I mean, walking backwards and stuff.
Yeah, you may need some other work before you get to that level of exercise.
All right, I'll do that. In my newsletter, it said doctors will now be, I always get my C-reactive protein checked, but it said doctors will be checking C-reactive protein, LPA, and lipoprotein A, and one of them is inherited. And I said to my boyfriend, would you ask to get these checked? He says, okay, and what do I do with them after they're checked? Can you do anything with the lipoprotein thing? And
that's one of the hardest genetic markers to deal with. I see it only maybe in 10% of people, and it is really, there's not much to do about it. Niacin may help, vitamin C may help, berberine may help. But I tend to take care of the other issues so that the Lp(a) isn't as much of an impact, and take care of the inflammation. If C-reactive protein is elevated, that's inflammation. So we need to do a toxicity and inflammation workup and deal with that.
And the one's lipoprotein A and one's LP small a. But both of those, you're addressing both of those with what you just said, right?
Those are the same thing.
They're the same thing. So it's not necessarily. I just read in the Nature Cure, I believe everything I read, which isn't so good. But I read in the Nature Cure, and he said fish causes this acidity in the body. I'm a vegan. I'm trying to make myself eat fish, though. My doctor will not do an omega-3 test on me. She keeps saying it doesn't work, it's useless, and all that. But
you need a new doctor, because obviously her brain doesn't work.
Yeah, it used to work so well. It
doesn't now.
It was such a good brain. I mean, she cured what looked like bronchitis.
She probably needs some fish oil. It'll help her brain work a little bit better.
Yeah. So fish is a good thing. Yeah, I heard you talk about it. I've heard you talk about it a lot. Okay, get rid of the xylitol. Oh, my goodness. I bought about 5 of the mouthwashes.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Not good, huh?
Well,
even though
good luck with that.
Out,
I hope you both find some answers.
Thanks for your help all the time.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you there, Susan. I have Ann from Tampa. Good morning, Ann.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Harvey.
Hey, Ann.
Hi, I so much appreciate your show. I learned so much and get many of my questions answered. My question today has to do with my 95-year-old stepmom, and she is now totally incontinent. Because of this, she does not like to go out anywhere, so she is becoming reclusive. And also, she does not want to drink water, which she badly needs because she gets urinary tract infections because she doesn't drink enough. Okay, so my question is, what are some natural things, or what are some things that I can suggest to her to try to lessen her symptoms?
Well, I think she's already figured the one out: drink less water. There's not knowing anything else about her. So many different things cause incontinence that I wouldn't know where to begin, other than a diaper actually catches the incontinence. And if that's not sufficient to make her feel comfortable, yeah, it's understandable.
She does use a diaper. Yeah, she does use a diaper. She is mobile. She can walk and et cetera. She does use a diaper. And apparently, maybe it's not the right kind, but she does have a lot of accidents.
So, yeah, it's a really difficult problem. At 95, I don't know that there's much intervention to do.
Okay.
A urologist might give some good information, but I don't blame her for not wanting to go out if she's not feeling like it.
I know, and it's sad. Because that's one of our issues, is that she's becoming reclusive, and we don't want that to happen, because then she becomes sedentary, and the end result of that. So,
well, maybe she's allowed to make that decision at 95.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I've been told that a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what you want; it's what she wants. Honestly.
That is true. Thank you for saying that. I need somebody to tell me that.
Yeah, let her make her decisions, because at 95, she's the queen of the family, my dear.
Yeah, she is.
Let her rule.
And she dies.
Good.
Thank you for your advice.
You're welcome. Have a lovely day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Best wishes from Mom.
Well, we're getting to the bottom of the phone well, so I'm going to remind folks that you are listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa, and you're encouraged to participate, and I've got Scott in the line to prove it. Give us a call at 813-239-9663 or continue to send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Let's go to Scott in Safety Harbor. Good morning to you, Scott.
Good morning.
Hi there.
How you doing, Doc? I called you last week and asked about wild lettuce.
Yes.
And you said you were going to research it a little bit. I just wondered if you had time.
Not this week.
Okay. That's all I needed.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome. I'll put it on the list. Thanks.
Well, I know we've gotten to the bottom of that well I had talked about, so I don't want to spend this next half an hour wondering what's going to happen. I want you to participate, folks. This is the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey on WMNF Tampa, and you are invited to participate by giving us a call and putting Irene to work. Just give us a jingle at 813-239-9663. or send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. What have you got for us today on St. Pat's there, Dr. Harvey?
Well, here's an email that came in from Cecilia for a follow-up on xylitol. I think this is brilliant. She says that her vet had a sign up that xylitol is being labeled as birch sugar on some products. So watch for birch sugar if you have dogs, because it could be deadly to them. And let's see, I just wanted to make some mention about the dangerous person that has become the head of Health and Human Services. This confused individual, Robert F. Kennedy, has some problems understanding reality. He's not medical, and he misinterprets medical things all the time. And so the most recent thing that I saw was his attempted takedown of Gardasil, the anti-HPV vaccine that prevents cervical cancer. Though I don't agree with the schedule of the HPV vaccine, I don't think that many 7-year-old girls actually are having sex, so I don't see much reason for them to be getting it at that age. But I think that the erroneous statements that this man keeps making are enough to have people get very, very concerned about vaccines. He talked about how the Gardasil vaccine had resulted in some deaths, and it was really great when I read the associated literature that the deaths that occurred with car wrecks, common juvenile cancers, and other things that had nothing to do with the vaccine. So it's really distressing that the man who has been placed in charge of Health and Human Services is a disinformation disseminator. He actually is promoting absolutely cockamamie ideas about things that science has already proven. And his dangerous buffoonery is something that we need to really pay attention to. I believe that his purpose in doing this stuff with vaccines is to help his son's law firm. They sue vaccine or drug manufacturers, and I believe that we're going to see an attempt to remove all the vaccines from anti-litigation laws or regulations and allow them to be sued. His family stands to make billions of dollars on class action suits. So you have to really wonder about many of the things that he's promoting, because he has ulterior motives that are very destructive. And he does say some good things, though. I totally agree that we should actually ban soda, all kinds of sodas and candy and ice cream and everything else that is not really food from SNAP programs. I know it's controversial, but I don't believe that my tax dollars should buy things that aren't food if it's supposed to be going for food. Whole foods, yeah. I don't think we should be putting it out on weird products like Coca-Cola. It's simply a bottle of sugar or a bottle of poison if you get the artificially sweetened one. So it's really interesting that this guy is actually in there. I mean, it is an oligarch party happening in Washington right now, and as a member of the Kennedy clan, RFK has oligarch money backing up all this crazy stuff he's doing. But it's really disruptive to human health to do this. And it's unfortunate, though, that the reason it was ripe for it is because there's a problem with our government agencies. I mean, they were staffed by people that lied. They lied about the pandemic, up, down, both sides, behind, under, all around. And the Financial Drug Administration approves drugs that don't work and that hurt people, like the one they did for Alzheimer's. The Completely Deceptive Commission ridiculed people that were trying to stay alive during the pandemic for seeking out ivermectin and calling them horse paste users. That was disgusting. It was vile. It was very, very, very fascist to be othering people that were trying to stay alive, especially when we had the data that it works. And the studies that were done regarding it were actually fudged to make it look like it doesn't work. And when academicians like me and my colleagues read the papers and realize what subterfuge they were doing, it's really fascinating and absolutely disgusting. So we need to really pay attention to what's going on in this world. And it's happening. Like Mehmet Oz owns Medicare supplemental insurance stock, at least, if not the companies, and he's now in charge of Medicare. He wants to privatize it so he can profit off of our tax dollars. That follows an email that came from Peter, who said, "Boy, how did I reach 65 next month? Happy birthday, Peter. Any thoughts, Doc, on supplemental plans with Medicare? I'm on the healthy side currently, feel healthy, but there are a few choices out there to add to Medicare. Any do's and don'ts that you've heard over the years, or any nightmares you've seen patients experience on picking supplemental plans for medical issues, prescriptions, etc.?" currently looking at what Humana offers. Well, there's one here, I think it's based in Florida. It's called Freedom Health. I would avoid that thing at all costs because they're so bad that most doctors and hospitals don't actually take them, so you can't go to see anybody. It's a hard question. People that have chronic illness that needs recovery, they don't do well on Medicare Disadvantage programs because you are removing your access to Medicare. You're actually selling it to an insurance company that then controls your access. So United gets to call the shots, or Humana gets to call the shots. And I think that when Medicare calls the shots with the secondary, you're in much better shape if you can afford to do it. But it's tight to afford sometimes. And so I would personally, I'm not going to do in a year from now, I'm not going to sign up for a disadvantage program, which is, I call them that because they actually take our tax dollars and give profit to insurance companies over and above their expenses for administrating the program. They get a 15% profit right on the top. So I don't agree with those. And the Affordable Care Act is a similar kind of thing, where it forces us to spend tax dollars on private insurance companies subsidizing their perfidy, their deceit, and their denials of your claims. Why would we want to have our tax dollars support that kind of public ripoff? It's time that we end the Affordable Care Act and actually get universal health care, because the Affordable Care Act is simply a fascist ploy on more extractive profiteering.
All right. I do have a full board here. I've got Diane, Dana, Maggie, Karen, and Annie. So let's go to Diane, and it says Paris. Good morning, Diane.
Hi. Good morning. I have a question. Hi. I always had a little high cholesterol, where my doctor was like always watching, and she suggested that I do a CAT scan and I for the calcium. And
yes.
I had that, and the results came back that I do have a score of 180.
Okay.
How is that? I feel I was very upset by that score because I was told it should be 0, and I'm 66.
So I had a score of 100 when I was 33, and I'm not terribly concerned about your score of 180. I've seen people with scores of 1,500, of 2,000, of 5,000, of 500. Many are in this range. Unfortunately, most doctors have just figured out that there is this test called a coronary calcium score. I started doing those back in 2001. It took general medicine a whole generation to figure out that this test was out here. Now it's old technology. It's moved on. So I don't order these anymore. I order a coronary CAT scan like you got, but I add in something called the Clearly AI. There's another one out there too, but Clearly is the one I use. And Clearly AI analyzes the data and actually can tell you how much soft plaque, how much gooey plaque, and how much calcified plaque you have. It's the soft plaque and the gooey plaque that are the risk plaques. So now you know you have some scarred arteries, but it doesn't really affect your health.
Oh, that's like a relief. I've been having such anxiety since I got that score. And she is now saying, she's always said go on a statin because my cholesterol's always run a little high. Now it's going to confirm that, yes, you need to go on a statin. But I would like to avoid that as much as I can and try, are there any things I can, like supplements or something that would help with plaque?
Well, yes, there's a lot of things you can do to help with the problem that causes the plaque. Right. And that is inflammation and toxicity. So eating organic, drinking lots of water, exercising every day, doing saunas.
That I've been on this health. I've been very healthy, exercising and doing all of that. That's why it was so disheartening to get a score of 180. Like
Yeah.
what else? I'm thinking maybe reducing my red meat, even though it's usually pasture raised.
Well, I think what you can do is look and see where your issues are coming from. Get a since you have this evidence of something in your arteries, I would get a Cleveland Heart Labs test that looks at vascular inflammation. I would get a Boston Heart cholesterol balance that tells you whether your liver is making more or you're absorbing more from your diet. And I would also get an advanced lipids from Quest that breaks down into the particles and does the lipoprotein little a, LPA. And so you can have an idea of where your system is having the pressure and where you can actually relieve the pressure.
Exactly, yeah. And the only other medication is levothyroxine, which I hate taking that all the time, too. And I'm thinking maybe that has something to do with why my body is not processing the fat like it should.
Well, most people develop a problem with the thyroid because they have a metabolic imbalance, toxicity, and inflammation. And so, yeah, there's something underlying that caused your need to take levothyroxine.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I feel a little relieved that I'm not going to die on the spot.
Yes. Well, you could get some deeper advice if you go to ifm.org, the Institute for Functional Medicine, and do a physician search and find somebody local to you that does functional medicine.
Well, you are local, and I've been putting off, but I think I'm going to make an appointment. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
And thank you, Diane. Let's go to Dana in Valrico. Good morning, Dana.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Dana, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Okay, so I was diagnosed with a nodule in my lung that was left over from COVID, it said. And this nodule becomes inflamed and causes extreme pain, spasms, and I can't do anything. So I've just recently gone on, I was taking 4,000 milligrams of curcumin a day just to keep pain at bay as a regular basis, but then the nodule would still flare up. So I just found out about super or extra strength curcumin that has the boswellia and a couple other things in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm still taking Robitussin every now and then when I feel the pain coming back in my lung. So is there anything else I can take besides the extra strength curcumin that might keep me off the Robitussin?
Well, Robitussin only does one thing. It actually irritates your gastrointestinal lining so that you'll secrete more fluids into your lung and make the mucus thinner. So if you have thick mucus, Robitussin could help. Otherwise, not likely. Protease enzymes, proteolytic enzymes like wobenzyme and proteozyme help to dissolve irritating proteins. You said you're already on curcumin, boswellia. Those are good. Fish oil can help. But has anybody actually thought about treating you for the inflammation of long COVID?
Oh, I haven't heard anything about that, no.
Yeah, so there's short courses of ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, prednisone, all kinds of different things that we are using to intervene when people have sequelae or follow-up problems from the virus.
Okay, and that, would I have to go to a functional medicine doctor for that, or should a GP know about that?
Well, they should know about that, but you'll probably have to find an integrative, functional, holistic doctor because it's highly unlikely that they will participate in the sanity.
Oh, okay. Okay. I have one more question related to my significant other. He has a severely clogged blood vessel in his brain, so they put him on a blood thinner. And he wondered if we went to the health food store and they told him they wouldn't suggest the extra strength curcumin for him being on a blood thinner. So do you know anything about that or anything he might be able to take for inflammation?
Well, I think that, what's the blood thinner he's on?
Paxil.
What is it again?
Paxil?
How about Plavix?
Oh, Plavix? Is it Plavix?
I don't know. Well, that could be.
Could be.
Because Paxil's an antidepressant.
Oh, no, it's not Paxil. So it's
Yes.
the one you said.
Plavix. It's clopidogrel is the actual name of it. And so I don't know of any interaction between turmeric and clopidogrel. I don't know what it sounds like you need to find a different doctor who thinks, because that one doesn't think. If they think that there's actually a problem with curcumin and Plavix, then they're confused.
Okay, that was actually at the health food store, the manager there.
Oh, okay. As long as your doctor wasn't saying that. The manager doesn't know what he's talking about either. So, no, there's no problem there.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
I hear that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, thank you there. And let's go to Maggie in Tampa, and next is Ann in Gulfport, and we're about down to the last 10 minutes. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning. Hi.
Hey there.
I just had a question. I have an 84-year-old mother. She has AFib. You know, she goes in and out, and we were basically kind of told that you kind of live with AFib. But her doctor did mention that maybe down the line she might need a heart pacer. And it seems like the times her episodes have been getting closer together here in the last couple of months. And I was wondering, is that something that's common, that if you have AFib, that down the line you get a heart pacer?
Yeah, that can happen. I was wondering, how is her sleep apnea being treated?
That's why I'm calling you, because I was listening to you talk about that earlier to another person, and I was like, AFib and sleep apnea? I never even heard of the two put together.
Isn't that sad? How long has your mom had AFib?
Oh, years now.
And the doctors haven't told you about sleep apnea?
Nope.
And is your mother an alcoholic?
No.
Okay,
No,
so there's two principal causes for atrial fibrillation: alcohol abuse and sleep apnea. So if she doesn't have alcohol abuse, then she's had negligence because nobody's actually diagnosed and treated her sleep apnea.
She has problems sleeping.
Yeah, there you go.
When she goes into the AFib, we don't go to the emergency room anymore. She just kind of learned which medicines to take to bring her rate down.
Yeah.
And she just has these days of where she's just tired and sleepy, and
that's from the sleep apnea.
And she can't sleep at night.
That's the sleep apnea.
Oh my God. Okay, so can she ask her primary care doctor to send her for sleep apnea testing?
She could, and she could also just look up a sleep doctor and go there to skip the process.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I've had an awakening. Thank you.
Hey, best wishes on that, and keep us posted. I want to know if she got diagnosed.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome. Have a great day, and good luck with that.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All righty. I do have Annie in Gulfport, and we've got about 8 more minutes, so I might have time for just 1 or 2 more calls. If you want to give us a jingle at 813-239-9663, we'll try and get you on. But let's go to Annie. We can get her on. Good morning, Annie.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Well, and you?
I'm okay, and I have a question about intermittent fasting.
Yes.
I heard someone ranting the other day, a doctor saying that it was stupid and it was no good for you and you should just eat regularly. And my idea of intermittent fasting is not extreme. I just think that one should wait about 12 hours between eating and try to eat mostly. I try to eat mostly like from between 9 and 10 in the morning and try to not eat after about 7 or 8 in the evening. So that gives me about 12 hours.
Yeah. So you're doing time-restricted eating. Time-restricted eating is that way of eating. And that's smart. And that's what actually humans have done for years because, once we ate the food that was available for dinner, we weren't getting any more until the next day. And so intermittent fasting and time restricted eating can have really good impacts on blood glucose metabolism. But intermittent fasting, there's been some recent stuff that showed up that maybe it's not as good as doing time restricted eating. Just doing smart eating might be better, but there is some evidence that intermittent fasting can induce some cleanup of some of the cells in the body. Like people with long COVID might do well with doing a longer fast, a full day. And an intermittent fasting could be you eat everything until dinner on day one, and then on day two, you don't eat anything until dinner on day two. And that's a 24-hour fast. And so, yeah, I think there is benefit, but I think people overdo it, and I have to recommend that nobody do juice fasting, because when you're doing glasses of juice, even though it comes from vegetables, it's still sugar water, and that fuels the wrong microbiome in your gut, makes you more sick.
Right. So what I'm doing basically is just sort of like time-restricted eating.
Yeah, and it's normal eating. That's a normal pattern. I think it's fine.
Okay, great. And one other question. I have a friend who has suggested I've been sort of depressed lately. I'm not normally a depressed person, but circumstances, you don't need to know. But suggested, and this person is a therapist, not my therapist, she's just a friend, but she is a therapist, and she suggested that I might do well with taking like 5 to 10 milligrams of Prozac for a few months. I've never taken anything like that. What do you think of Prozac?
I think Prozac's a medicine that works for people that have major depressive disorder, and it shocks them out of it. And actually, if you read the PDR, the physician's desk reference, the package insert for these medicines, they all say use them for 6 months and then see if the person still needs it. Take them off of it. Hopefully in that time, they've had therapy and changed the way they think, and their mood is better and their circumstances better, and they can actually not be on the medication. But that doesn't happen. People are on these medicines forever, and they deplete your serotonin levels, and they cause more problems. And so I'd recommend you never even start one if you haven't ever done one, and consider just trying something simple like mood-lifting tyrosine. Tyrosine is an amino acid that actually is made into adrenaline, noradrenaline, and dopamine, all of your 3 happy chemicals. And then if you take a little tryptophan, tryptophan turns into serotonin in the body, and that helps to calm things down. So a little tyrosine in the morning and tryptophan in the evening has never hurt anybody, and it may actually give you the lift you need to get out of where you are.
Okay, and we can get tryptophan in this country again? I heard it was banned for quite a long time.
Yeah, there was an unethical or just a really sloppy Japanese manufacturer of tryptophan back in like 1997, and they had an excipient chemical left in there that caused an inflammatory allergic reaction in people that took it, and it nearly killed them. And so they had to take it off the market, but it's proven to be good now. It's back on the market. You can get it in a supplement form at your local health food store.
Okay, and I go to Rollin' Oats. And
I love Rollin' Oats.
Yeah, I do too. Tyrosine, you called it? How do you P-Y?
T as in Tom, Y-R-O-S-I-N-E.
T, okay. Tyrosine.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you, doctor. You have a wonderful day, and thanks for your help.
You're so welcome, and you have a wonderful day as well. Hey, this has been another excellent show, and I really appreciate all your call-ins. This has been very good. Have a lot of questions I couldn't get to because we're down to the last 45 seconds or so. So I just wanted to thank Bill. Yes, thanks for doing the boards for me. And thank you, Irene, for bringing all these callers in and helping us out there. And I want to thank all the listeners for supporting this show and the station, because this is the best community radio station on planet Earth.
And that's so true because of folks like you and other hosts at this station. We do our best. That's why we are the best little community radio station on the planet Earth. And I want to thank you, Doctor, for another wonderful show, and for all of our listeners, callers, and participants. Y'all are the greatest. And Irene, can't say enough about you. You're fantastic. You have been listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. Coming on up next is 5 minutes of NPR News, followed by the Sustainable Living Show, hosted by the peerless duo of Tanya Vidovic and Annie Ellis. Until next Monday at 10 a.m., thank you for supporting and listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa, your community conscious radio station. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, and know that you are loved.